Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
So it's Monday. Monday's horrible, awful, terrible, egregious things. A day of the week that should be banned. A day of the week that should be struck from the calendar. But while I can't do anything about the intrinsically sucky nature of a Monday, I can tell you that for what's left of this particular Monday, you and I will get through it together with laughs and conversation, and also by taking a look at some of the more interesting political events of this past week just gone by. It seemed like all the interesting stuff happened on Friday when we weren't on the air, Travis. Cosby got popped. There was the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Like, zip, zing, nada, nothing. And then Friday and Saturday, everything happens.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things that I was literally watching the news, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, the one day we're not on.
Yeah.
So much content, and it's pretty much writing itself, and we're not on the air.
Yeah. So we'll discuss some more of this. I think Bill Cosby might actually be insane, though. I think he might, he's done horrible things and he got popped for them, but I think based on some of the stuff that he said in the courtroom, he might be more than a couple of sandwiches short of the proverbial picnic. But anyways, what did you do this weekend? Anything good?
No. Nothing bad. It was, it was uneventful. I was on the tugboat until Saturday morning, got off the tugboat on Saturday morning, and, I don't think I did anything Saturday. I think I ran up to my parents' house to take care of some stuff, and Sunday was uneventful as well. It was nice. It was actually really nice.
I went to two baseball games. I went to see the Mets take on the Padres. Went to San Diego to see it. Here's the thing. I saw Bartolo Colon hit his one and only career home run in San Diego, and it was one of the greatest, that was one of the greatest days of my life. For whatever reason, things were not going well. There was a lot of different stuff going on at that time, and I saw the game, and it was beautiful. Mets fans, the Seven Line Army, marched through the streets of San Diego, and we wound up at the park, and it was a game that the Mets won, and Bartolo hit his unbelievable home run, and it was the only time I've ever been able to say I was there when. It was this incredible moment and this reminder that anything is possible. So it was a day where baseball healed, and I suppose I've been chasing that transformative healing experience from baseball ever since. And so I go on Saturday, literally the best seats I've ever had in my life. I'm sitting right behind home plate, 13 rows back. I'm not even entirely sure how my buddy got these tickets, but we're there. And watching batting practice from there, I'm getting goosebumps, actual goosebumps. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Bruce, there's Cabby, there's Conforto, there's Cespedes. And I'm just losing it and quietly losing it and thinking it's going to be this amazing thing. You got a team that is dead last and a team that's in first place. And for once the Mets are in first. And I'm this is going to be incredible. I had ringside seats to the worst beating in Mets history, I think. 12-2.
Oh my God.
It made the pain of it that much more real. But I had, it was just ridiculous. But I had seats for the next day for Sunday's game. So I went to that as well, but they were way up in the nosebleeds. But then the Mets won 14-2. So, Mets Twitter afterwards were you're no longer allowed to sit close. You can't do that.
Sucks.
But it was incredible. It was amazing. It was a beautiful reminder of the sense of possibility that baseball gives you. It was great. It was freaking fantastic.
Baseball is just one of those things that I'm not going to lie to you. I love having good seats, but even in the nosebleeds, it's just such a good time. How can anybody complain about it?
I loved it. I loved every minute of it. It's just, especially there, if you ever get a chance to go to Petco Park, it's San Diego, so likely the weather's going to be perfect for a ball game. Sunny, breezy, and just a beautiful day. Well, there's something transformative about the first baseball game of the year that you attend. Things are going right. The sun is out. The air is sweet with the smell of burgers and dogs and popcorn and peanuts and Cracker Jacks, and everyone has a team that is in first place. The days are getting longer, the nights are getting warmer as you look forward to 6 months and 162 games of possibility. Tom Petty and baseball remind us that even the losers get lucky sometimes, as the team most destined to fail can and will beat the team in first place. And in that moment, that's all that matters. Well, the start of baseball season is the reminder of infinite possibility. The start of baseball season is optimism born anew. Hope fills your heart and the air, and sometimes that's all you need. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back. Say ho, ho, say ho, ho, ho. Let's start the show.
Real radio.
104.1. Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
You know, I had a couple of awkward moments, though, at the baseball game.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I know the protocol. I know the etiquette. I go to a lot of ball games. But here's the thing. I don't go to that many ball games where the Mets come back from a crushing defeat the day before, where they were literally housed by the team most likely to lose everything. like I don't care how fluky baseball is. I don't care how confident you are in your team. I don't care how much you chalk it up to, it's a long season. When you see that you've gotten beat 12-2 by the team in last place, it makes you a little concerned. And going back, I was like, oh no, please don't let it be a blowout again. This would be so this would crush hopes and dreams if we don't get a win and we don't get a dominant definitive win. I'm going to be concerned. I'll be perturbed. And so things are going rather well. Things are going rather well. And then we get to that part of the proceedings where, like, every single Sunday in San Diego is a massive military town. The Padres will always wear uniforms to honor the military, and then they'll take a moment to recognize everybody that's served, which I think is great. But I'm a little discombobulated because the game's going so well and I'm freaking out. And I'm also like Mets fan in enemy territory. Like, literally, you got to bear in mind, as much as I'm worried about my hopes and dreams being crushed, there's people in there that all of a sudden have their hopes up. They're like, well, I know it's supposed to be rebuilding year, but if we did that to the team that's in first place, we might actually be onto something. So they're like, if we can do this again tomorrow, oh man. So, I'm like, let's go Metsing at the top of my lungs amongst a bunch of people that are giving me progressively dirtier looks. And I'm just like, I was happy for you when you guys won yesterday, as much as I hate to lose. Like, one of the coolest things that ever happened to me at a baseball game, it was actually at the game where Bart hit his home run. And I'm freaking out because it's an amazing, incredible moment. One of the greatest days of my life. And this woman turns around, and I wasn't the only Mets fan there. There were like a couple others. There was a whole bunch of them that were sat in a different part, but my tickets were for not near where the 7 line was. So I'm there with just a smattering of other Mets fans. And, I'm naturally freaking out because it was an amazing day. And this woman turns around and says to me, I don't know what you're so excited about. It's just the Padres. And I was just like, hey, I am a fan of the New York Mets. I am well acquainted with the concept of having a team that sucks. Let me have this. And but at the end of it, like, there's this old guy. I loved it so much. It was a perfect end to a perfect day. There was this old guy in a Padres shirt, and he stuck out his hand. He's like, "Good game, son." I was like, "Thank you. Good game to you too, sir." And like, it was, it wasn't a blowout. It really was sort of like, oh man, it could go either way here. And It was just a beautiful, super cool thing. But there was none of that good sportsmanship handed to me today when the Mets beat the Padres. First and foremost, I was like the only person there. I was like the only person there by the end of it. I was like the lone Mets fan in my section, and the rest of it had become a ghost town because, and it's funny because you see people leave and you go, they're not hardcore. You know, they're not staying till a bitter end, no matter how bitter it is, the way I did yesterday during the Mets game, where I was just like, or the way I did the day previous to that. And then I was like, you know, people have kids. It's Sunday. People want to go home, all this stuff. So I kind of understand it. But I was there by myself, freaking out with absolutely no one around me joining in. And it was a great thing. But I had this awkward moment because I was all excited, all discombobulated, where they honor the military. And it's San Diego, so there's tons of people in uniform, and then they had a whole section of that. I guess they just gave to military, and so they're like, let's honor our military, and the military stand. I'm like, cool. So we're all clapping, and then the guy next to me stands. And I didn't hear that they said, if you're in the military, please stand.
Oh, no.
And the guy next to me, who wasn't in any kind of uniform, he stands up. And I was like, oh, I guess we're standing. Because I thought it was just the people. And I was, you know, kind of, this has happened long enough. Let's give him a standing ovation. And I didn't catch the, if you're in the military, please stand part. And I'm just out of my mind. And this is stupid. I know there's going to be people being like, how insensitive. How could you? Yeah, absolutely stupid. But I was really just trying, I'm going to stand now for the standing ovation because I really appreciate our military. And like someone tugged me like, not you.
Oh my God. It's one of those things that mistakes happen, man. I mean,
yeah, I know. They're like, only if you're in the military. I was like, oh, damn, I didn't want to be part of some sort of obnoxious stolen valor moment. Like, so I felt, I mean, I didn't even stand all the way up. You have to understand, it probably looked like I was just adjusting, you know, my seat cushion. Not that I had a seat cushion, but like, I just stood up for like 2 seconds, like didn't even lock my knees out. Like that, didn't even get behind above 90 degrees. And the person was just like, not you. I was like, okay. Oops.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And then we got to God Bless America. All right, answer this question for me, because you take your hat off in the national anthem.
Right.
That's a given. But do you take your hat off for God Bless America?
That's a tough one.
Tweet me. What do you think? Yes or no? Do you have to take your hat off for God Bless America at ADSXE? I'm very curious about this one. And I wound up taking my hat off for God Bless America, but it reminded me, I hadn't been to a ball game in a while. I was like, right, God Bless America, got to take my hat off. And then I saw other people leaving their hats on, and I was like, hold on a second, what is the proper etiquette here? Money making, skills on the mic, you get paid every day, and you're part of the battle, just bow down, better act like you know.
For more stimulation and less irritation, 9 out of 10 doctors choose KPRC AM 950, Houston's more stimulating talk radio.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, bring this on.
You know, I didn't realize that I had stumbled into such a hotbed of controversy with my whole conundrum over God Bless America at the ball game. But it was like that thing where you're not entirely sure what the protocol is. So I just took off my hat and stood with my, hat/hand over my heart because I wasn't sure. You know what I mean? And I've been to so many ball games before, but every kind of organization has their own thing. The Yankees play it at every single game. Most teams will play God Bless America on Sundays or holidays, but it's not something that every ball club does every single game. So, it's not something where we're all familiar with what the proper etiquette is. And I think it's only become a thing at ball games since 9/11. Like after 9/11, Major League Baseball ordered all teams to play it. And that made perfect sense, but other folks held on to it. And now, and this is one of the things I love about baseball. At baseball, if this had been a football game, people would have been, telling you to take your hat off and do you respect our country or do you respect God or whatever, and like everyone was sort of like just happy to be there and knowing that everyone's heart was trusting that their fellow baseball fans' heart was in the right place. That's one thing I like about baseball, man. I just find there to be, I don't know what baseball has done, and it's not without its controversies and shortcomings, the Major League Baseball organization, but I find in general, baseball has managed to keep this something that everybody can enjoy. You know, like it just feels like everyone's there to have a good time and take part in something that they love. And that has always been the overriding sentiment at every ball game I've ever been to, literally every ball game I've ever been to. So they've done a good job at that. So while people are sort of concerned about it, they're not concerned to the point where it becomes a massive deal that takes away from the game. And for that, I am truly grateful. But yeah, there's, I guess, people that have a problem with God Bless America being played at every single baseball game, saying Americans need to stand for 2 songs and 2 songs only, the national anthem and Here Comes a Bride. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, didn't you say you came across some quote from some guy going like, I only stand for the national anthem and like my college's my alma mater's signature song?
How stupid is that? Well, I mean, I say how stupid is that? I don't mean any disrespect, but it seems just silly to me. But no, yeah, I had no idea it was so controversial either. After you said it, I was like, I gotta Google this just out of curiosity, not to argue or anything like that. But oh my God, people are. Seriously, you're either, other than me who just doesn't care and you who just didn't know, people are on one side or the other and they are just fussy about it.
Well, see, I go to ball games in 3 places. I go to the ball games in places where I work or where I'm from. So like I'll go to Mets games in New York City where they only do it on Sundays and holidays. And I don't know if I've ever been to a Sunday game since they started doing it or a holiday. So like, I'm not sure I've ever seen it played at a Mets home game. In San Diego, well, I went on I'm trying to remember. The last time I went to a Mets game was a weeknight, and I don't think they did it then. And if they did, I was getting there after work. I might have gotten there a little late. I can't remember. So it's not, it really was one of those things where I was like, I don't know what the etiquette is here and I don't want to offend anyone. So I just did the safe thing. I stood up and took my hat off. I mean, you would stand and sing, you stand and sing for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. So why not God Bless America? And bottom line is, look, I love baseball. I love baseball so much. Like baseball is my favorite freaking thing, more or less. I love the Mets. I love dogs. I love Seinfeld. I love the Beastie Boys. These are the things that create happiness in me. Like, these are the things that make me happy. So, like, I have a great time, and I'm just enjoying the whole thing. And I'll stand and take part in whatever it is. But as much as I love baseball, and as much as like it's my favorite thing, it is a slow moving sport. And you realize that they do so many things between innings to kind of just keep the momentum of the day going. So I think a lot of the time, like, now we're going to do this, and there'll be people dancing on the field. Now here comes a bunch of kids to sing a song. Okay, now we're going to have a first pitch. Now we're going to have another first pitch. Now we're going to play 50-50 bingo. That's what they. You know what I saw at the Padres game on Sunday? You know what I saw that I've never seen before ever anywhere?
No.
A baby race.
Hang on, what?
Yeah, they lined up babies.
No.
And it was so funny, man, because they put it on the Jumbotron, but they did it in the little sort of like, a lot of ballparks have a small park where, kids can play t-ball and stuff like that during the game.
Yeah.
Well, in that, they had a televised baby race where they had like 5 babies and the babies raced from one parent to another parent, like crawling across the grass.
Oh, that's funny.
So, case in point, they'll really do anything to fill time at a baseball game. And I love it so much, but it is slow moving. And like, but I'm like, it's so funny. They were like, and now a baby race. I was like, what? I've never seen this before. And then right before the baby race happened, they said, just a reminder, betting on the outcome of the baby race is prohibited.
No, are you serious? Yeah. That is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, so there you go.
Wow.
But so like, God Bless America is sung. I'm already on my feet, but I'm like, do I take my cap off? And then I see one person over to my left, cap on. I see another person over to my right, cap off. I'm like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm not taking any chances. I'm taking my cap off. And then the guy on the left who was wearing his cap sees me take mine off. He's like, crap, and takes his off. It's just like, you just want to do the right thing. His bottom line is you just want to do the right thing. And I think, it was a reminder to me that, our heart 9 times out of 10 is going to be in the right place. And if we do something that, it hurts your feelings or offends you, and I'm just talking about humanity as a whole. If your fellow human being does something that upsets you, chances are they didn't mean it, and you should give them a second shot at this. But yeah, God Bless America is this big controversial thing. Like, there was this dude, the Charlie Pillsbury, had a problem with it. He ran for Congress. He said, God Bless America is silly because God shows no partiality towards nations. God blesses the whole world. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah. I mean, sure.
Everyone thinks they're the chosen ones. Like, God loves Texas more than he loves Arkansas, but God loves America more than he loves England. It's just like...
I guess it's just one of those things that it's like not to demean it or not give it the respect it deserves, but I guess it's such a senseless argument that doesn't matter and it has no true outcome and no true answer, that it's just one of those things that, like, the fact that anybody cares enough to actually argue about it. Like, that's kind of how I feel when, like, football fans want to argue about football. Because it's one of those things that it's like, just like you talked about, the first game of the season, everybody's team is in first place, and it's just one of those things that anything could happen. It's one of those things that, any football game can go either way. I mean, it just can. Any sporting event can go either way. Sometimes one team gets lucky. Sometimes things that happen, the things you never thought would have happened, happen. And it makes me just laugh so hard when I see two people literally almost coming to a physical altercation over fighting over which football team's better or whatever. And you're sitting there looking at it, you're like, wow, if I've never in my life seen a more pointless argument that will never be solved, it's this one. It's so funny. Yeah. I find baseball fans to be a scotch more civil, generally speaking. I've never witnessed a dust up, like when the Mets got their asses handed to them, like, some Padres fans were actually like, sorry, man, you'll get them next time. It's so funny, man.
And like when we won, I was like, good series. You guys are getting better. Because everybody knows how much like this weird, irrational, emotional attachment to a bunch of men that are not from your hometown playing for an organization owned by a private company. Like, everyone's aware just how ridiculous this incredible emotional attachment to their baseball team is. So I think you kind of give each other a pass. I think fans give each other a pass in that way. God Bless America was written by Irving Berlin in 1918, and he thought it was depressing. He thought it was really, really depressing, so he never did anything with it. 20 years later, the world was going to war, and there was this woman called Kate Smith who had a radio show, and she asked Irving Berlin for a patriotic song. Do you have a patriotic song for wartime? And he was like, yeah, okay. And he pulled God Bless America out of the drawer and changed this one line. The gold fields up in the Nome, changed it to oceans white with foam.
Wow. That's crazy.
I never really, yeah. Well, there you go. Oceans white with foam.
Huh.
Apparently, atheists have a problem with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Believers have a problem with it, saying that God would bless the whole world. There's some people that say you're missing the point of what God's all about there. Foreigners. I'm reading this article written by someone who has a big problem with it. Someone from the Daily News. He says, I once went to, who wrote this article? I don't want to read it without crediting the dude. What the hell is his name? Gersh Kuntzman. He said, I once went to a game with a British guy named James who smiled when God Bless America was being played. He said, it's exactly what I expect from Americans. The self-righteousness, the patriotism. It's always nice to see my opinions confirmed.
Oh my, I had no idea it was so controversial.
It's a big deal, man.
That's crazy.
I'm also glad to know that because I felt really silly for not knowing the protocol, but I haven't been to too many games where that's a thing. And so I was like, okay, all right. And if you Google it, there's so many people asking, what is the proper thing? Do I take my hat off? Do I have to remove my baseball cap during God Bless America? So I'm glad to know that I'm not alone in asking this question.
I wouldn't have known. I would have had no idea. I don't know if you're supposed to take it off during Deep in the Heart of Texas. Probably.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you what, though. I do get emotional during Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I do. I don't know what it is. I think it's that bond that you feel with a stadium of people. Like everyone gets up and sings it. Everyone's there. And it's just about enjoying this thing that we all love, this thing that, like I said, we have this irrational, emotional connection with. And when the whole crowd goes, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. I almost tear up. Like there's something beautiful about it. Oh boy, here we go.
Will you participate in the wave?
I don't like the wave. I find the wave to be a distraction. I'm there to watch the ball game, and that's it. Like, that's the problem with baseball. It's incredibly slow moving, and it'll happen every single time. Like, you leave to go to the bathroom, or you leave to get a hot dog. In that split second that you have taken your eyes off the game, it could be just because you're standing up to go get a hot dog, or what, like... Because here's the thing, you realize that if you wait till the 7th inning stretch, if you wait till between innings, there's a very good chance that you won't get back in time to watch what you want to watch, because that's when everybody goes to the bathroom. So, you're trying to pick your moment, and you take your eyes off the game for one teeny tiny second, and you've been watching this dead end, going nowhere, dull as dishwater ball game for the last 90 minutes. And in the time that you look down or look away, that's when Cespedes hits a 3-run bomb and everything changes, which actually happened to me. So there you go. But then you get weird because you're like, okay, if I can, now I have to go, because if I had been looking, would he hit the 3-run bomb? I'm horribly superstitious with this stuff.
Oh my God, no, you don't do that.
I can finally wash my David Wright shirt that I hadn't washed since the beginning of the season, because I wore that every single game that they had that incredible 9-game winning streak. It didn't smell, but it didn't smell good. It's basically where it got to. And then I wore it to an outdoor ball game where you have all the elements. And I was like, if we win, if we go big, like I think we're going to go big, then I can't wash this. And, fortunately for people that encounter me on a daily basis, we got crushed. So the David Wright shirt is going into the washer, and a new streak starts with a new shirt sometime soon, because that's logical. That makes sense, but that's a beautiful thing. It doesn't make sense. You don't need it to, and that's awesome.
Sometimes you just know you're done. You're longing for that shining sun. You walk these streets most every day. You're waiting to get washed away.
More AD on the radio.
So what do you eat? What do you eat when you go to the ballpark? What's that for you?
Oh, I love the nachos.
See, I can't do nachos at a ball game.
Too messy.
But you like that fake sort of like cheese-esque thing that you get at nachos at ball games and movies and gas stations, right?
I love gas station nachos. I love that canned reheated cheese. Ugh. Oh God, it's so good.
I just can't get into it, and I especially can't get into it at a ball game. There's all sorts of ballparks with all sorts of absolutely amazing places to get food now. Like, you can get real kind of gourmet bang up fare at most ballparks. But for me, it's always it's got to be a hot dog. If it's a Hebrew National hot dog in a plain white bun, You don't even have to give me ketchup or mustard. I'm happy. And there's something about a hot dog where it's 200 million% more delicious at a ballpark than it is not at a ballpark. There's something about it. It's just, that's the only thing I can do. That's it for me. What about when you're just snacking? What's your? I bring this up because there was a new study done about our snacking habits, and well, you know how we like to talk about food on this show.
Oh my God!
People who never eat between meals must have some sort of superhuman ability to avoid temptation. So this is a list for the rest of us weak, pathetic mortals. But the survey asked people all about their snacking habits. Here are the questions and how people answered them. Let's see how your snacking habits stack up. Before that, though, what's your go-to snack, Travis?
It's so hard to say. Like, I try my hardest not to keep snacks in the house because, like, I try so hard to be on a good diet, a good, healthy diet. If I go to somebody else's house, or the worst, if I go to my parents' house, my dad will always have, like, those peanut butter-filled pretzels. Oh, my God. Like, those are so delicious. Like,
never been a big fan of pretzels. Other people like them, but why would I eat pretzels when instead, if I'm going to do something terrible to myself, I could eat chips? Like,
well, I love chips too. I mean, chips are incredible, especially like,
you like those horrible gas station nachos and you like pretzels. Do you like combos?
Combos are okay. I'll tell you what I really like. Like, if I'm going to eat chips, what I'd kill to have is those like kettle jalapeno chips. Like those. Those are so delicious.
When I moved to England, that was the first time I'd ever encountered salt and vinegar chips, which are now the done thing over here, but at the time, not so much. And salt and vinegar crisps in England, like potato chips in England tend to be much thinner cut, and they're called crisps, not chips. And that sort of makes sense because they seem more like crisps than chips. I wasn't familiar with the vernacular, but the moment you eat one, you're like, that makes sense. So they have salt and vinegar crisps over there, but like the salt and vinegar ruffles, so they're like thicker and, you know, ridged and stuff, like with salt and, oh man, those are good. And I can't imagine a situation where I would possibly go, I want to do something horrible and salty. I'm going to eat pretzels as opposed to salt and vinegar chips.
So true. I think the thing with those pretzels, with the peanut butter filled pretzels, is you get the sweet and the salty.
Right. People like that.
Yeah. It's so good.
Okay, so when you snack, do you usually go for sweet things like cookies or salty things like chips?
I'm so gluttonous that I'm not picky. Whatever's available to me, I'll eat it.
The majority of us, 69% go salty, 31% said sweet. Do you pretty much snack throughout the day or at a specific time each day?
I try not to snack. If it's like open season on snacking, I'll snack throughout the day, but I try my hardest not to.
67% say it varies and they go throughout the day. 33% have a regular time of day that they like to snack. And when you schedule it like that, I just think it counts as a small meal. I don't think you can call it a snack. There's a devil may care attitude towards snacking. Are you a late night snacker, meaning after 9 p.m.?
Yeah, after dinner, I will get hungry again, especially if I'm up like super late. If I'm up past midnight, you better pray there's no ice cream in the freezer because I will eat it.
Really? I can't get into something that's an ordeal late. Like a bowl of ice cream? Nah, I can't do it. If it's something I can just shove in my face, like pretzels or like cookies, or that's one time I will eat pretzels. Like, you know, there could be like half a roast chicken, but I don't want to deal with the greasiness because it's late and I just want to shove something in my face. That's when I'll go with the pretzels over other things.
My dad is terrible for buying like these like mini drumsticks from Walmart, you know, so it's literally
sort of ice cream sandwich type situations. That's or little ice cream cones or something.
Yes.
One shot deals. 54% of us say yes. We eat after 9 o'clock, and then 46% of us say we don't eat after 9 p.m. Those are disciplined individuals, unless they go to bed super early. Do you ever eat in bed?
Yes, and I always make the comment. I always use the Archer quote. Anytime somebody sees me eating in bed, I'm like, oh great, there's crumbs everywhere. Do you want ants? Because this is how you get ants.
That's an Archer quote.
Yeah, it's an Archer quote. It's amazing.
Dude, that's so funny. There's an amazing line in Family Guy. You know, the episode where Brian and Stewie move in together?
Yes.
And you just hear, like, I think Brian's trying to talk to his girlfriend, and from the background you hear Stewie going, "Oh, Brian, we need paper towels, Brian. Oh, it's going under the fridge. Oh, we are going to have ants."
Oh, my God. Yes, it's totally, I remember that, and it's totally an Archer quote. Yeah. Do you want ants? Because this is how you get ants.
Oh, that's funny. Do you store snacks? Oh, wow. This is really indicative of some interesting behavior if you do. Do you store snacks anywhere other than your kitchen, like your desk or your car?
No. No.
That sounds like someone's got a stash somewhere.
Yes, okay, yes, I do.
What do you have and where do you keep it? Look, I'll tell you right now, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem admitting this. Like, sometimes I don't have the ability to eat during the day. So in my desk at my office at work, you will find a drawer full of things like Cliff Bars and whatnot. And I don't go to it often, but if I don't eat, I get a headache. You know, if I go like a long amount of time without having food, like I'll get a headache. So having that Cliff Bar there, you need it. So it's a stash. Yeah, I got a stash of snacks in my desk drawer. We'll find out what Travis's stash of shame is all about and talk about my new go-to snack, which is delicious, next.
Leave the stimulation to the professionals.
Everyone is so smart.
KPRC, more stimulating talk radio.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So we're discussing, because we tackle big and important issues around here. The controversy at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Pshaw. Bill Cosby going to jail for the rest of his natural life. Who needs it? North Korea and South Korea talking together again, possibly saving us all from a nuclear holocaust. No. Let's talk about America's snacking habits. Hey, it's Monday. We got to break ourselves into this stuff gently. So we're discussing these national snacking habits, and we discovered that most people go salty, not sweet, when they want to snack on something. Most people say they snack at no particular time during the day. Most people snack late at night. That's when the cravings hit and you walk to the fridge and you start shoving things in your mouth. Travis, you said you eat in bed.
I do. I try not to snack, to be completely clear. And for the last month and a half or so, I've done no cheating on my diet, not at all. But outside of my diet, when I'm not doing so good, yeah, I'm guilty of it. I'll have crumbs in bed.
See, you're not on your own there, but you're in the minority. Only 30 or so % said yes because they don't want crumbs in their sheets.
They don't want ants.
Dude, we are gonna have ants. I don't sleep. I've always had problems sleeping. So if there's any kind of foreign anything in the bed, I'll wipe my feet off on the bathroom. The sort of the bathroom rug before going into bed, because I just don't want there being anything floating around by my feet, because that will keep me up all night long. So the idea of eating in bed mortifies me. Just couldn't do it. I'd rather go to the fridge and stuff my face full of all the things that I want then, and only then. Making sure that there's no crumb on the side of my mouth or anything like that. Then and only then will I go to bed. When you snack late at night, do you rebrush your teeth?
Oh, I'm the worst about it. So here's the deal. I was terrible about brushing my teeth. Not about it's not that I wouldn't brush my teeth, because I would brush my teeth, but I didn't have a toothbrush that I liked, and you ever come across people who are like, oh my God, anytime I eat, I have to brush? And I like completely respect that, but I was just not that guy. I usually brush in the morning and I'd brush at night. And I was notorious for, like, if I brushed my teeth and then I had a snack afterwards, no, there's no way I'm going back and doing it. But I've gotten like really, really good at my brushing habits. I will brush after every meal. I brush, I floss, I water pick, and it's been going. I mean, it's great, and my teeth are cleaner than ever. It's incredible.
Well,
but no, I'm not.
You've worked on a tugboat for years.
Exactly.
Like, you've worked on a tugboat for years. So, like, here's the thing: your home is where you work.
Exactly.
I'm not going to be the guy that brings a toothbrush and a tube of toothpaste to the office. Like, I don't do that. During the day, I chew gum, and then I brush at night and in the morning like a responsible adult. I floss too. Also, never had a cavity, not one in my life. So I might not have the best habits, because if you're worried about cavities, you might be one of those people that walks around with a toothbrush with you everywhere. What are those things they sell? The little ones, the wisps. You ever use one of those?
The wisp. Is that a toothbrush, or is that little flosser thing?
No, that's it. Like the I love the little flosser things. Those I will take with me. Like, I once had a bag of those in the car, and I did kind of get addicted to the flossy element of that. Like the toothpick and the floss, I'm all about, because the idea of anything between my teeth drives me crazy. But a toothbrush and a tube of toothpaste, no. The wisp was this thing. I don't know if it ever caught on. Maybe you can still buy them, maybe you can't. I think it was like a disposable teeny tiny toothbrush that already had like a little bit of toothpaste on it.
Oh,
so it was like
yes.
a one-use thing.
Yeah. I remember those. Yeah, those were nice. Those were real nice. I think I used them, like, I bought like one bag of them, and then I think I used like 2 of them out of it, and then I lost the bag.
Right. Oh, it's probably, if they're not still in business, it must be because of stories like that one.
But yeah, those were incredible. But yeah.
You know what my go-to snack has become? And this is like, oh man, it's the best. You try not to snack. I've been trying to make the snacks better. You know, like, I used to just, shovel string cheese into my mouth at about 1 a.m.
Oh yes.
Like, and that's the thing. It's like the easy one-shot deal. You peel the plastic off, you shove it in your mouth, and then you do the repeat 5 times, and then your snack is over. You don't no muss, no fuss, no plate, no washing. Yeah, like.
Now that's what I'm wondering about with the string cheese. Do you take the time to peel it, or do you just take bites off of it?
Oh, it depends what sort of mood I'm in, but generally speaking, the only time I ever find myself peeling string cheese is if I've run out of like legit cheese and I want to put cheese on, pasta or a baked potato. Like, I'll peel it off and be like, because it's sort of like mozzarella, you know what I mean? Otherwise, I'll just chomp down on it. Like, the actual string part of it is fun, but it doesn't really. I'm just looking to, if I'm in a string cheese eating mood, I'm really just looking to cram as much food into my mouth as possible before I fall fitfully asleep because of my lactose intolerance. So, no, my new snack of choice is guacamole. Like, I'm trying to eat healthy. So, like, if I'm eating something, I'll eat, like, fruit or something like that. Not a ton of it, because it's all acidy. It'll give you a stomach ache. But like an apple, or banana, or guacamole. But it's not real guacamole. Like, I'll cut open an avocado and I'll like mash it with a fork inside the avocado shell. Does that make sense? I'll do literally anything to avoid doing a dish. So like, I'll take that and like, I'll cut the avocado open, pull the pit out, mash it inside the thing, and like use the little thing as a bowl as I scoop it out with, whatever other piece of food I'm scooping it out with. Sometimes a chip, sometimes some string cheese. But it's awesome. It's like ghetto avocado. I mean, what's the difference between that and avocado? You add pico or something?
I think it's that you add pico and like the lime juice. I think sometimes you add tomato to it. Yeah, but it's pretty much
and salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper, exactly.
Yeah.
So I have this deal that I hate it when I go to a restaurant and they have on the menu like an avocado burger, and I'll get so excited and I'll order it and it arrives. It's so delicious, except for the fact that like it'll arrive and it's a hamburger with guacamole on it, because heaven forbid you tell the truth, because there's guacamole on it, not avocado. Okay.
Heaven forbid you tell the truth. It's just the way you said that. I know you said this to a server. Like, You order your avocado burger, something with guacamole shows up on it, and you've looked them square in the eye and said, heaven forbid you tell the truth.
Look, I'm not trying to be petty, okay? I'm really not. But I thought that I was getting a burger with the avocado on it, okay? Not guacamole. I love guacamole. I'm not a guacamole hater. I love guacamole. But I didn't want a burger with guacamole on it. I wanted a burger with avocado on it. And now I've got a burger with guacamole on it. It's like,
but is it actual? Okay, so is it my ghetto, like, you know, cheap ass, not really guacamole version? Is it just mashed avocado so it stays on the burger better, or do they add the onion and the you know,
no,
the works?
It's probably just mashed ghetto, your type of guacamole.
But you want the texture, you want the slices, right?
I want the slices of avocado. If it says avocado on it, I'm expecting slices of avocado.
I don't like avocado on a beef burger. It's not like, it's okay. I'll never say no to avocado or beef, but like a turkey burger, that's when I really like the avocado on it. Like turkey burger with a chicken sandwich with avocado. But I feel you on the generally misleading thing that you encounter in retail on a regular basis. And so, as it turns out, does Brian Regan.
I was on the road recently and I was hungry, and I passed a place that said Mr. Frank. So I said, I'm going in there to get a hot dog. And I walked in and immediately realized it was a men's clothing store. It's weird, your expectations are 180 degrees off. I'm expecting paper hats and guys slinging dogs. I'm seeing jackets and ascots. I'm like, this makes no sense. Before I could leave, a salesman came up and said, can I help you, sir? And instead of saying, no, thank you, and leaving, I said, I want a hot dog. So we just stared at each other for like 20 seconds. And he says, you know, this is a men's clothing store, right? And at that point I knew that. And I was like, yes, I know. And then I turned around and walked out. And my guess is he tells that story more often than I do.
It's almost deliberately misleading. I had this whole thing where we're going to, maybe we can talk about it tomorrow, but I had this whole thing where I thought we were going to talk about this absolutely fascinating aspect of the Golden State Killer case, in that he was caught basically because of a DNA website, like a 23andMe type website. But we really don't have time to get into it today, so earmark that for tomorrow, because can open worms absolutely everywhere with regard to information and privacy and things of that nature. Like, it's fantastic that they managed to take a serial killer out of the mix and catch this guy. But on the other hand, the implications of, you know, the police having access to a sample of your DNA because they go to a website like 23andMe or a company that does this sort of thing it's kind of, for a lot of people, very scary stuff. Now, we live in an age where privacy is almost non-existent, and there's a lot of people that straight up just don't care about it anymore. But there's a lot of people going, we're glad he's caught, but this is an undeniably slippery slope. We'll get into all that tomorrow. Before we go, though, Travis, let's just do a couple pieces of news before we bounce. What has been going on in the news?
A fourth XXX movie is now in the works.
With Vin Diesel. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had this moment, right? You're looking at the movies that are out, or perhaps the coming attractions, and you go, oh, creatively, Hollywood has completely run out of ideas. They're completely bankrupt of new thought. And case in point, as if to prove this way of thinking that I get every single time that I open up the coming attractions, a fourth installment of a movie that probably should have ended after one. A fourth installment of the XXX movies with Vin Diesel is in the works. This time, see, it says here, this time Vin Diesel travels to, you know what? Who cares? Who am I kidding? If you're the type of person who wants to see a fourth XXX movie, plots aren't your thing. Go on.
There is a sequel in the works too.
Oh, a sequel.
You may actually like this one. There's a sequel in the works to A Quiet Place.
Ah, yes, A Quiet Place 2. Quiet Harder. I haven't seen the first one.
All right, the Cleveland Browns selected Oklahoma quarterback Baker Mayfield as the first pick in the NFL draft.
Well, our sincere condolences to Baker Mayfield. Go on.
President Trump says he was too busy to buy a birthday present for Melania.
Oh, did he just have Michael Cohen write her a check for $130,000? He is a busy individual.
Awkward. Republican Congressman Steve King says too many airports play CNN on their TVs.
Oh, right. Partisan news. Does Fox not get equal time on airport television sets? I don't know. I don't know. I'm fairly certain that we're all either just running for our planes or, I'm fairly certain, based on the people that have been sitting next to me, and boy, this is awkward, that most air travelers are just watching porn on their phones now anyway, so there's that. That's a show.